young woman.
Thank you.
Now, you're a little odd too. Because let's talk about the outfit colorful. What about that outfit you wore at the MTV award thing?
Well, I was feeling very Laura Ashley that day. I was feeling a little chintz, a little mauve, you know.
You had your
Well, hello.
There it is. You got your whole, what was that outfit?
Funny. It made me laugh. I don't know. I also was delirious because I had like 103-degree fever and I was on so much Sudafed just trying to get through the day. It's like, and the dress was sent to me the night before, and I'd actually wanted kind of an Erte vibe on the back, you know, cause an entrance, cause a scene, whatever. But I didn't really realize the front was quite that bare. But then, you know,
it was just like it was like a G-string with a little bit of a front.
It had a little leopard print.
Very
like
nice
this.
leopard print.
Thank you.
It was very brave of you to wear something like that. It reminds me of when I wore that really funky red leather thing to the Emmys. Do you remember that?
Right. The one that pushed.
Yeah, it was really pushing. It was straining at the seams.
Well, this one in the limo on the way there, this sounds terrible, but I had to kneel so I wouldn't get griddle butt. Girls know what that is. Like in the summer, if they have shorts on, they sit on a chair, and then you get up and you have like, you know, like a waffle print. So I had to sit on my knees with this like thing hiked above me. You know, interesting position.
Yeah, but it was very cute and very shocking, and everybody was like, whoa.
Well, it's a rock show.
Yeah.
So I figured people would be, you know, woo, like freaking it out, and I was the only freak freaking it out.
Well,
that's okay.
Your boyfriend's Marilyn Manson,
yeah.
And he's freaky.
In a special way.
He is freaky, and I think he's brilliant.
He is actually probably one of the smartest people I've ever met, and really, truly thoughtful and extremely centered.
Yeah.
And like most people that are pro-free thought, he's kind of like dangerous to America. So, you know, a lot of like, you were talking about Jerry Falwell, people like that really want to stamp him out.
Why?
They're stupid.
Did they not get how funny it is, or what?
No, I mean, they just add fuel to the fire, you know. And the most ridiculous thing, it's like, you know, when Bob Dole was, you know, going after him, you know, of course he'd never listened to it. Of course he'd never, you know, heard his philosophy. You know, people go, oh, he's the Antichrist. We sit at home killing puppies. You know, no, he's just like opposed to forced religion. He's not opposed to any religion. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't shove it down somebody's throat. And of course, this is America, and we seem to be all about shoving our agenda down somebody else's throat.
How do we get that way? I mean, you're of a younger generation than me. But does like your generation look at my generation, just think we're like so putrid? Like, I mean, like, don't you think our values are so antiquated and hypocritical and putrid?
Well, I think I think there's certain people that are putrid and hypocritical. And, you know, I used to hold the hope that, you know, the Senate would change once all these old white-haired fogies would die. And, you know, unfortunately, they train their little kids just to be like them, just as hateful, because I went to school with some really hateful people. You know, some of the schools I went to, it was like, oh, you're different. I had to jump out of the way of cars. They would throw things at me out of cars. You know, I get told I was ugly and a freak every day.
Well, tell us why that is.
I didn't have puffy blonde hair and blue eyeliner or something. This is when I lived in Oregon, which is, you know, land of Tanya Harding. And that's kind of the look. And they're not real welcoming to different people there. I mean, people think of Oregon as kind of like free love hippie. It's, you know, a lot of rednecks. And I've met some people that look on the surface like redneck, but they are some of the most genuine, kind-hearted, great people.
Yeah,
so you
absolutely.
can't really judge them completely from the outside.
But you had like the
some
most
are vicious.
Well, some people of every sort are just really messed up and lost.
Yeah, but all those people liked coming after me.
Why do you think you're a freak magnet? Because I am a total freak magnet. Total.
From birth.
Me too. Like they'd always go, there's a girl who will understand. And be gravitated towards telling me they're...
Well, my problem is that there would be like the one person at the schoolyard that would be getting the hell beaten out of them, and I would go stick up for them. You know, not that I even knew the person or liked them, but I knew that they were the underdog, and I knew they were being treated unfairly. Then that person would stalk me, the person that I stuck up for. Every single time. I'd be like, Mom, tell her I'm not here.
Well, that's why I was wondering if you thought my generation was a bunch of freaks, because you grew up in like...
No, you guys pass it on. Thanks.
We do pass it on, don't we?
I hope with each generation a little bit gets filtered out. I mean, so much depends on the parents. You know, I imagine if I grew up in a really bigoted household.
No, you grew up in the weirdest, dysfunctional place in the world. Tell us about it. You had like you were in a cult. That's how you were raised.
Yes, I mean, I don't even really remember my parents until I was a bit older because, you know, if you grow up in a house with about 100 people, it's like in the Tom and Jerry cartoons, you just see Mammy's legs, you know. So that was someone back there thought that was funny.
What was this cult,
My
though?
fan of one.
Tell me about this cult, because it was the same one that River Phoenix and that family was into.
Yeah,
What's the name of it?
Children of God.
Children of God, yeah.
Which, of course, you know, like most people that, you know, use God in their name, kind of twist it to their own purposes. You know, I can take any sentence out of the Bible and twist it to my own fitting.
Right.
I can make anything.
Any sentence, anywhere.
Any sentence, anywhere, with anything, you know, suit my purposes. And so basically, it's what your intent is.
That's not a place where you would expect somebody to be raised in that kind of an environment to, like, be into free thought, free thinking.
No, strangely, you know, I mean, that's the weird thing about, imagine those kind of things, cults, if you will, just because it's promising, I think, all these legions of people free thought and a different life. But of course, you know, if you break their chain of thought.
Do you have relationships with your mother and father?
I do. They're strange. You know, my mom is a really smart woman, and, you know, it's hard. You know, you're a very smart woman, and you've gone through a lot of things, and maybe your kids have a different perspective of some of the stuff they had to go through because of that.
They're pretty mad about it, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy stuff that...
But it's pretty interesting that you think it's, I mean, not that it's okay for them to be mad all the time, but you validate the fact that they might have gotten screwed over a bit.
Yeah, because I think it's that our whole 60s generation. I think we, more than any other generation, I think we screwed over our kids worse than anybody. That's my opinion.
I mean, I have to agree with you, to be honest. And I think there's I was thinking that it must have been such a weird time for women, because my mom was raised by the total, like, 50s mother. Right. You know, my mom was born in the 50s and taught basically and brought up like her mom was to service men in all areas. I bet you men like that. And but then, you know, the sexual revolution comes along and you're supposed to be a free woman and on your own and all this.
It was way too much information for any of us.
But it's also like what's really ingrained in your DNA is, like, you know, baking cakes at home, but then you're supposed to go do all this other stuff. So it kind of, you know, and I think it was really a me generation, to be honest.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I think people, if they're going to have kids, should put them first.
I think people should put their kids first, too.
And if you can't even conceive of doing that, don't have them.
Yeah, but you don't even know that you don't even know that you're, I mean, your parents probably didn't even think that raising kids in a cult was...
And they probably thought it was, you know, if they thought it was great.
What'd you learn about the world?
I learned, well, actually at a very early age. I mean, I remember all these people drilling weird things into me. Like, they had all these weird rules. Like, I had to sit on my bed all day long when I was 6 and learn how to snap my fingers, otherwise God wasn't going to teach me to drive a car when I was 16. And even at a very early age, I was like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Maybe I was saying that in Italian at the time. It's like, and basically a lot of these things that these people were preaching, you know.
It's just about control, isn't it?
It was about control, but it was also like, I really, when I was very, I mean, I remember being 5 and thinking, okay, I'm going to live through all of this stuff. Probably when I'm about 19, I'll have to have a lot of therapy, but then I'll be okay. I really did. I was a very strange child. I was like very...
I want to talk more about that when we come back, because I had that very same feeling growing up too. Yeah, I'll just get a lot of therapy, and I did. More with Rose when we come back. With Rose McGowen, and that's your new movie, Jawbreakers?
Jawbreaker.
Jawbreaker, and you, like, play somebody that, like, accidentally or purposely?
Accidentally. I mean, it's like kind of a group of friends that we play weird tricks on each other's birthdays, and this year we kidnap our best friend, and I throw a big jawbreaker in her mouth, put duct tape across her, and we throw her in the trunk, you know, all duct taped up, and we're going to take her to Denny's and tie her to the flagpole, but then, of course, that dumb girl, she must have an overproductive saliva gland. But the jawbreaker melts, and it kills her. So, of course, everyone's like, hey, let's tell the police. And I'm like, listen, I'm pretty sure that'll mess up my chances of becoming prom queen. I'm not having it. So Courtney's kind of a girl that figures out how the situation can benefit her, and her wheels are always turning.
You're scary in there. You're scary in that role. Isn't she scary? There's like a threatening underbelly of the personality and acting technique. Are you like that in real life? I mean, it seems like you're scary underneath.
I'm only scary if someone either, you know, threatens somebody I love or my dogs, or somebody once kicked one of my dogs. He almost died. But things like that, like I'm actually very, like my brothers and sisters, because I kind of raised them, you know. My mom was going back to school and stuff. So like a neighbor kid would beat him up. I go knock on the neighbor kid's door, even if he was 5, and I'm like 9. Knock on the door, he opens it up, and you know, like that. I was kind of like my own personal little mafia. But even now, and it's kind of actually not good being more overprotective of other people than yourself. Like, people can get away with a lot more with me.
I just think it's just so cool how you were like raised in this, like, whatever it's called, totalitarian thing, and you just have this great presence of self to go out there and.
Took a lot of work. It's one of those don't let the bastards get you down thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to really keep on pushing on.
And your whole generation is so about that.
I hope so. I hope so, because there's a lot of stuff to keep on pushing through.
Right.
You know, and that's the one thing I get mad about people my age that are like, just like listen to the, well, they used to listen to the Grateful Dead and follow that stuff around, because I think there's so much stuff to be activists against now. I mean, I was always weird. I was like handing out like anti-Khomeini like flyers when I was 14, and like I was like, give me a soapbox, baby, I'll stand on it. But
well, what do you like at home?
I actually
You and your boyfriend, like, you live together, right?
Yes.
So what do you guys do? Like, do you rent videos or?
We watch a lot of movies. He's even more of a movie buff than I am. We love Foul Play with Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn. The dwarf we like a lot. The dwarf, the white-haired guy.
I don't think of him or you sitting home. Like, what kind of TV shows do you watch?
I've actually seen your show because I remember you were talking about turkey the other day and tryptophan making you tired. I remember weird things. I like watching ice skating championships and dog shows and Animal Planet.
Those are the things I like.
Do you watch Animal Planet on like the emergency vets, and they always have to put the animals down, and I start crying. I'm like, I promise myself I will not do this to myself anymore. I'm like, oh, it's so good.
What about the alligator hunter? That's my favorite.
Crocodile Hunter.
Crocodile Hunter. That guy and his wife, they just go around wrestling alligators.
I know.
That's why I watch.
Well, I'm of course obsessed with like the emergency vets. Something, it's like therapy. Going home, watch this for half an hour, cry, get on with your night. I don't know. We go to a lot
Animals in Peril.
Animals in Peril.
That's your karmic button.
Not just lately. I think ever since I got dogs, I never really owned animals before, but since I've got these 2 weird dogs. Do you know what Boston Terriers are? They're like bug-eyed.
Yeah.
With they're black and white. They kind of look like me. Black and white with bug eyes. And my dog snorts. Ever since I've had her, I snort when I laugh.
So you're becoming your dog?
I am becoming my dog.
Do you want to snort for us like the dog does?
I usually do it and I laugh. I'm like, ah, ha, ha. And I'm like in a 4-star restaurant. I'm like, sorry.
So I wanted to tell this great story that you're just in town. You're not like wanting to be an actor or anything. And you just meet like, this is like the American dream, the Hollywood dream thing.
From hell. No, sorry.
You just meet some guy that introduces you to another guy. And tell us what happened.
Well, I was actually visiting a friend of mine, and he wanted to go to a gym and work out, and I was like, ugh, that's so LA, I'm not being seen there. And it was this one on Beverly Boulevard, and if you're in LA, you'll know this. It's like, I call it butt row, because it's all these like women in their thongs, like going up and down the Stairmaster, but their butts are facing out, and there's like 10 butts. Like this, I'll be like,
and when you're driving by and you're like trying not to look because it makes you feel so terrible because I have no butt and I don't want to see that.
Listen, I don't want to see anybody with a hot pink thong up their thingy. That's all I'm going to say about that situation. But, so, and obviously working harder at whatever than I am. So I refused to go in there. I was like, I'm too cool for this. So I stood out there for about, an hour and a half. And finally he came out with this, there's a man named Greg Araki who's a director, and he, I wound up getting cast in this movie.
He sees you, he's like, you've got to be in my movie.
It was actually a friend of his, but they introduced
Turner,
me.
like.
Which I, of course, said no to at first, because my
did?
idea of actors was like Kirk Cameron, people that I was like making fun of. Sort of like, I don't know, just kind of goofy people. Like, it's a long jump to Meryl Streep, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, you've worked with her, but
yeah,
it's a long jump. It's a long jump to
right.
Meryl Streep. And which I thought she was great in One True Thing. Did you see that movie?
Yeah, she's so great. God, she's so great.
She's great. In any case, I digress. I'm like the tangent queen.
So you get in the movie. No.
I get in the movie.
And then you get in this other movie. And then your
I
career
get in the
just
movie
keeps
and then
going and going.
I go away for a year, and I kind of actually go to beauty school for a while, and I finished beauty school, and I took the California
I love that
State
you
Board.
leave the movies to go to beauty school.
Well, I'd actually been to a couple of beauty schools previous to doing this. I wanted to kind of finish up my little beauty career doing ladies' roller sets. And old ladies can be mean. When I decided to be an actor is when I worked on this one lady who was bent forward at her waist, bless her heart, couldn't hear, and she had like 4 hairs on her head, wanted to look like Liz Taylor. And I had to give her a perm, head first. You spend like, if you're a girl, you spend like 20 minutes in this water bowl. It was
She can't go back, you mean?
Right.
Right.
So she's forward. And then she's got an attendant that's screaming at me in Spanish. And then I got a quarter for a tip, and I was like, ooh, fine, I'll be an actress.
I'll be an actress. But
Yeah.
you like really have not all that much interest in being an actress. And tell them what you really want to be. You're so weird. Tell them what you
Which
really want to
one?
be.
Museum curator?
Yeah.
Leaf collector? That's my line with stupid guys that try to hit on me. I'm a leaf collector. I study botany. I actually have this weird like pipe dream of bringing, you know, kind of like
What's your
art to
things
the
with
masses.
museums?
Well, my thing with museums is that they're very elitist in this country. Like I know that even I, like still if I go into like a real snooty museum or, you know, like the first time I went to the Guggenheim in New York, or even like a snooty restaurant, I still always feel like, oh, everyone's staring at me going, ew, what's that person doing here? You know what I mean? They don't belong. And
Why?
it's just inherent in me. I've tried to get over that. And
Do
know.
you feel like the whole
Well,
world's
probably-
judging you all the time?
Well, because I grew up in some very judgmental places where it wasn't totally
All over the world, right?
delirious of me to think that. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, wherever I could be, people. There's something, like you said, there's something about me that people were like, you know, like her out. One of those weird things.
Do you know that you're gorgeous?
I figure I look a certain way that helps, and I figure my parents being as crazy as they are. Now my mother's gonna kill me for this. God gave me something. Ha, karma. If I'm bound to be crazy, I might as well look all right while I'm doing it. That's my theory. It's one of my thanks.
Thank
See,
you,
I'm
Rose.
crazy.
Thanks for being here. Good luck to your
Thank you.
movie and everything else. Good luck in life. I hope you come back. Yeah, let's go hang
I'm
out.
not here.
Let's go hang out. I'd
Come
love
to dinner
to.
here with me.
I'd love to. Rose McGowen,
Thank you.
be back.